Well, what's going on, fellow zombies? Are we alive yet? Are we awake yet? Because I sure as hell am not. I am totally drained. 2:52 in the afternoon on a Friday, January 23rd, 2026. We were John C. Roseman, California. You're a zombie out here. Yeah, I don't do them very much like that, but still. All right, so despite all the headlines and how 2026 is coming out, it's like I'm oblivious to a lot of things before uglies happened, but the uglies were developing before 2026 came, and now I've got to deal with that. Join me on a conversation here, shall you? Okay. 1 minute, please. I had to get my walking shoe on while the boot still stays. And I, crossing thresholds to deal with she must be obeyed. My dog wants everything. How can I not deny this poor, stressed out puppy? In essence, I'm already stressing myself out. Okay. Sorry about this, but this was just going absolutely bonkers today. The things that are happening to me are equatable and relatable to what's happening in our country. And the way I keep looking at it, we are so screwed it's not even funny. We are. We don't even realize it. Okay, so in our country's defense, or an example of what's been happening, my place is a total disaster zone. Just like our country right now, as it is, when we got a disorganized gas bag who's hell bent on ruling things his way. Pride, ego, and everything else rotten, not to mention people following the same line as treating others in the same way. A lot of changes, chaotic changes happening in 2025, which led up to 2026. And for me, it was nearly the same thing. Caregiver to a dog, which is chaos right there, as it is. But is she a representative of the chaos king we elected? I've had mine for over 20 years. I don't know how long this asshole has been around. Probably a lot longer than 20 years. So, hang on 1 second. Chaos and confusion last year to insanity this year that we're dealing with, and it gets even worse and worse. We want people to have a good opinion on us because we had developed this reputation of being the best whatever we had, whatever we were. But apparently, we couldn't do this anymore. 250 years, our country has been thriving, or trying to survive, but with our own greed and our own wants going on, we just couldn't deal with it, could we? We just couldn't deal with it. And with our consistent wants and needs, we had discovered that we are falling to pieces, literally. Much like my apartment is falling to pieces. Roach war, constant, where these guys outnumber me many times. Nothing to fight back with. But I still have to maintain the rent on this place. Much like our country has to maintain its own rent on its own land that our country had obfuscated from the original native a long time ago. But we're celebrating how much we're a special land, a special thing. We have, I don't know what the hell we had to attract people over here to understand that we're supposed to be this And then we demonstrate in 2025 what kind of total losers we were. Because we voted a guy in who wants absolute everything, and everybody else wants to destroy America and make it their own disaster zone. And we're doing it that way ourselves. My place is a constant disaster zone. The dog wanders around all over the place, knocking things over, and then whines at me on a great deal of what's going on. Sorry, I'm trying to pick up the mouse for my computer. My dog, my mouse, wants everything. Alright, time to change angles. Sorry about this. Switching angles like this. But getting things squared away so I can get it plugged in, power it up, and then try to have something. We think we had something. We got people complaining about the tourists are not coming here. Where are the tourists? It's not coming from me, and it's not coming from everybody else. It's coming from the old gas bag that chased everybody else away. How come we don't have any tourists? Well, we have ICE agents picking up everybody who's a tourist and who's not a tourist and stealing them away. Now, how the hell are we not supposed to see this? How didn't we see this? We wanted everybody from the world to come into our country to shop, to visit, stay for a vacation, come out of here with good memories. Instead, we have our own arrogance, our own hubris, our own indifference, our own arrogance, our hatred towards differences of cultures and of people. And what do we get? We get zip. And no wonder there's been things coming from other people that, what's wrong with us? Well, the question is, what was right and what was wrong with us? Now, if I happen to look at this particular place I'm living in right now, this Nightmare on Elm Street, I should call it. A few years ago, what was right about the place? Well, laughter, love, dog, family. And it was somewhat organized, somewhat neat. Now it's just pure chaos over the past couple of years. I deal with bugs who have moved me out of places that should have been filled. Cabinets filled with food, dishes, stoves working, things not falling apart, not falling to pieces, and yet it would be livable. It would be outlets ready to have electricity used through them. Hardly anymore. And the renter of this particular place, not keeping it up in good condition, they would say, but hasn't invited anybody over here because I'm afraid the place would scare people apart. I have no places for people to be comfortable in. I have places where was comfortable but filled with refugees from the cabinets and food being pilfered through by the damn bugs. And attitudes happening. Attitudes that probably would say that I suck. Well, maybe I do suck. But I hadn't scared away people with tariffs. I hadn't scared away with veiled threats of taking someone else's territory away because I think I should. I'm not squatting in someone else's place. I am still paying rent. How does the United States pay rent on its land, by the way? Scratching your head on that one? Good. Because a long time ago, we didn't set up rental agreements with the indigenous. We just took it. We squatted. And we multiplied like roaches. Came an infestation of Europe and of different old ideas into a concept, into a land that was already dealing with its own territory issues. As I said before in my other videos, there's only two things that we do on each other. We want your territory where you want the resources, or we just want it because we want to feed our ego. That's what's happening. I deal with this dog who's old and dying slowly. She's blind, she's deaf, she's crippled. She's still got life left in her. She's still fighting, but sometimes she wonders if it's all worth it or not. And yet, if she's calmed down enough and I've got her in my arms, she'll sleep it off, thinking it'll be okay for a short time. And we're doing the same thing to ourselves in our country. I say these examples of the place I'm living in right now because that's how I see America right now. We have politicians saying whatever they want to say. The national assholes that we voted in an office and that we're paying the price on. It's supposed to be this particular way that we're telling you and showing you. You're not seeing the actual, but this is how it is. I can't say that to the people. I can't say that to the people how this place looks. Old, moldy, dusty, cockroach filled. Yet how come help wasn't obtained a long time ago? Because, and there's no adequate sentences after that. Just the one word, because. Doesn't mean anything. It's supposed to be an acceptable war for an acceptable reason, right? I'm supposed to throw it out there and it's supposed to be acceptable, but it isn't. It's not. And right now, all it is just is. I deal with disaster. My country's dealing with its own disaster, its own personality, its own cultural clash. The people who would be in that particular place no longer there or being subjugated. We want people to come in and visit us in our fair country. Do I want the same thing for my apartment? Maybe. But knowing how stressed out and out of control it is. Am I really emulating the United States of America? In one form or fashion? The thought processes, the ego trips, the things I want to show to people, but I got roaches all over the damn place. My own ugliness, my own dark side, if you will, forces things to happen that should have been in control, but it isn't. Like our country. But who or how would you put the cockroaches in some form or fashion to represent the ugliness and the ugly side of our country? We think we know. But the thing of it is, you have to look in the mirror. All the thoughts, all the decisions, all the movements, whatever you thought, whatever you physically moved, whatever you said, whatever you've done, is showing who and what we are. I'm a fool, I'm an idiot, I know that. I screwed things up in my life. I know that too. How I'm trying to deal with it, it's not exactly. If I could get this thing, if I can get this apartment cleaned up once, could I maintain it again? Wouldn't be pristine, but it would be workable, would it be livable? But would that be the same thing for our country as well? Do we need an outside force to straighten us up under their version or ours? But do we have a version and do we have a vision? Do we have something? We're arguing with ourselves. We're doing civil war in ourselves. We got the government regime that we voted in November 2024 throwing military into the streets to scare the crap out of people. Breaking into people's homes without a valid warrant. But one particular warrant is supposed to be good, not another one. And where the Constitution's always violated. You can't have your say. You can't have your process. What you can have is a gun pointed in your face and you're going to be complying, or else. That's if in your car trying to run away, you get shot to death. If you happen to say anything, you get protested. Actually, you don't get protested. You get arrested, actually. And jailed for either a few hours or a few days, depending on the mood. And then they'll release your ass. Did you do anything to the ones who are prosecuting and persecuting you? They'll say you did. They'll say you're a terrorist. You're a dirty, rotten traitor to our country. There was a memo being leaked through the Department of Homeland Security. It got, through whistleblowers. I'm still trying to find that damn memo. But there's been remarks about it mentioned in the Independents and up, hopefully, the corporate media on this one, about the polls and how the Department of Homeland Security looks at us, the American citizens. And they look at us as the real threat to them. Now, if you guys ever remembered reading through your history books what the regimes are like, they don't want anybody to remind them what kind of rotten human beings that you just put into power one way or another. They do not want to know how rotten they are. They want to know how wonderful they are. You constantly feed their ego. They may be sated enough to leave you alone, or they just want the fear and terror out of your ass. We're doing the same damn shit to ourselves. We've told ourselves many times we weren't going to do this. We fought wars over this. But now we got home soil doing the shit. And again, it's like blame the Americans because the Americans are the ones that are going to give us the issues. Well, I hope so. I hope so we give more issues. I hope I give more issues. I hope I'm going to be allowed to give more issues. Or if I'm not going to be allowed, then I'll get more issues. Plain and simple. I'll have outside forces complain about the living conditions of this particular place, and I'll say, I agree. What are you going to do? I get evicted. I got no place to go. I got an injured foot. I got a dog that's going to be burdensome. A hard choice to do is get rid of her, but I still got a foot to take care of. I got no place to live. I got too much junk here. Too much memories. But if I go, then the difficult decision is to leave everything else behind, including remnants of a past that I still have in ash forms concerning about my family. How things I've seen like this happen so many times when evictions happen. Wind up in garbage cans where people are sorting through the mess to see if you got anything good. Is that going to be the case for the United States of America? We're going to be putting in that kind of eviction situation? Because I'm surprised that the Native Americans are not pushing for that issue. Maybe they should have. Maybe the Native Americans, maybe the indigenous should have done that to us. Push everybody out of the coastline. The thing is, we got the guns, and we're pointing them at the indigenous and saying, try to do something. We're Dirty Harry. We're Dirty Harry, all right. We're dirty to ourselves and to everybody else. But we want to have this reputation that we are the best, we are the greatest, we are, with this ego-driven mania going on. And one by one, they're all turning their backsides on us. Instead of palm facing, face this. Tuck to the hand. Talk to the hand. And that's what we're doing, is talking to the hand. Because that's all we're going to be getting from everybody outside the United States of America. And sometimes that's how I feel it. With the networks I've made, I'll get the sympathy. But am I going to be getting talk to the hand? Differences between the country and myself here. I know I've got issues. I got physical and mental. Choices made, decisions made in the past where it's affecting my decisions these days. Whether or not I get the help, or I get burned, or I get stabbed. And if I get help, what's the price? If it's just out of kindness, and then I gotta say, okay, maybe it'll be better. But if I get backstabbed, that means I don't trust anybody. Nobody. I have to depend upon myself. With the hubris and pride going on, which will get me into another situation with my foot. Or maybe the other foot. And I wasn't taking care of myself all these years. To where I've got an ulcer on the foot. Cleaned out, painfully. Still in a bloody mess. It's been a few days. With me unable to fix the problem. I have to depend upon outside to help fix my internal struggle. Our country is in dire need. Either we can't fix ourselves, we have to have outside help. With our pride and our arrogance and our hubris, we're going to be stuck looking like my damn foot. I have not posted anything what the thing looks like before it happened. And it was ugly during that time. And after it gets cleaned, do you really want to see it? I haven't taken my foot out of a wraps or the boot yet. But I'm getting communications, somewhat, of how it's possible for me to get some kind of services going to take care of my life. Screwed up as it is. My life's screwed up as it is. Just how the hell am I supposed to be able to deal with this?